Hello everyone! How are you guys? F1 is finally back. Hello also on Instagram guys. So we are going to start with the telemetry data analysis. We are going to, hello everyone also on Instagram. Guys, I'm live on my Twitch. If you want to join, just click the link down below and you can see all the telemetry coming from the cars during the SQ. So let's start with the sector performance, which in my opinion is really interesting. We go here in that analysis and okay, so we have sector 1. As I said, I don't know if you watch the real. Hello Mudassir, hello Emritil. How are you guys? So I'm live also on my Twitch. If you want to look at the telemetry data that I'm showing on Twitch, you can just click the link down below. So first sector is a completely dominant from Mercedes. They are faster than everyone else. As you can see in the first column, the only car that gets closer to them is Piastri, but is almost 1/10 slower. So really good car from turn 1, you know, up until turn 4. Hello Marvin, how are you? Hello everyone. So I'm showing now the sector analysis, and as you can see, at least if you're following on Twitch, hello Fortnite lover, how are you? Leclerc seemed very comfortable. Yes, I watched his onboard, and I don't know, probably was one of his best laps, at least for this year. But yeah, it wasn't enough to be ahead of everyone. So yes, first sector Mercedes is quite ahead of everyone. Second sector, we can say that McLaren is quite dominant, but only with Norris, because Piastri is losing 2/10 to his teammate, and we are going to deep dive into the drivers comparison to understand why there is this gap between teammates. But also Leclerc seemed pretty strong in sector 2. But look at here, Mercedes was struggling a lot, and I just looked very quickly into Russell's telemetry. Hello everyone. Also on Instagram, guys, I'm live on my Twitch. If you want to join, if you want to look at telemetry, if you like performance and race engineering point of view, this is definitely something you don't want to miss. But yeah, second sector Mercedes is struggling a lot. You can see 4/10 to Norris, both drivers, and probably it's the first time that we see in 2026 this gap from Mercedes to another car. But we are going to analyze that in terms of speed trace, throttle trace, and we are going to analyze also why there is almost half a second in sector 2. And then in sector 3, again, unbelievable performance from Russell, who, I mean, is faster almost by 2/10 to Antonelli, which is quite a lot. I don't know if Antonelli got damage on the floor. I don't think so, because in that part of the track, the gravel is like, it's like there's like a glue on the gravel in order for the car to not going inside and just damage all the floor. So it's like a sort of fake gravel. And also I remember that probably the race engineer told him that it was everything was okay. Hello everyone. You look like Verstappen. Thank you. I mean, I take it as a compliment, Meisha. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you're not the first person that that tells me that. Also, one of my close friends told me that. But yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, definitely we can say that Mercedes dominance comes from sector 1 and sector 3. Really important performance from McLaren in sector 2. We are going to analyze if there is a difference also in terms of PU deployment and state of charge. Of course, we don't have accurate data coming from the cars related to the state of charge, because it's something the IP that the teams don't want to spread to everyone. But we can estimate that thanks to the data coming from Fast F1. Hello everyone, also on Instagram. So let's take a look now at the top 3 comparison. Let me just change the plot and I will show you in a second. We're going to analyze now the speed, throttle, brake of Russell, Norris, and Leclerc. So, and as I told you just a couple of minutes ago, I noticed that it was quite a strange behavior from Mercedes in Sector 2. I don't know if the gap, the 4/10 gap in Sector 2 is a car's problem, or it was something that the driver couldn't exploit the car performance, in those corners, really difficult corners, high-speed corners. Hello everyone. So let's plot this. We want to analyze Russell, which will be in aqua color. Then we're going to plot Norris in orange, and then we want Leclerc in red. Let's put in red. Just give me a couple of seconds and I will show it to you. So let's make it wider, because in this way you can also see the track map live. Okay, so this is the speed trace. First plot is the speed, second is throttle, as you can read on the left hand side. Then we have the brake, the gears used throughout the lap, and then the delta lap time, which is essential to understand where a driver is gaining compared to another one. Hello everyone, also on Instagram, guys. I'm live on my Twitch if you want to join and read the telemetry data with me. If you like, performance and race engineering point of view, that's definitely something you don't want to miss, because it's the the most important part of race weekend, in my opinion, because I'm an engineer, and that's what I like to do, and that's what the trackside engineers do from essentially Friday till Sunday. So and also here I will definitely add something else, because yes, the delta lap time is quite interesting to understand where a driver is losing to another one, but there's another plot which is really interesting to look at if you want to really understand the trend throughout the lap, where you're gaining or not, and it's the derivative of this plot, which I will do it, but not now, because otherwise we will waste time. But anyway, let's take a look at here. So sector 1, as I said, Mercedes sector, and we can see it from here. Let me just zoom this part of the track, if the computer allows me to do it. Sorry guys, here is so hot and the computer doesn't want to help me, but this is where Russell is making the difference, and is after turn 3. You can see once this is zoomed exactly. So the plot here, the trace, the delta lap time between Leclerc and Russell and Norris and Russell is going up, because Russell, look at the throttle trace. Russell goes on throttle way before and also in a more efficient way than Leclerc and Norris. Especially Norris is struggling a lot here at the exit of 3, which is the really bank corner at the beginning of the lap, and could be also due to different way of taking the corner, because I was watching a couple of onboards. Hello Charles, I'm great, how are you? Finally F1 is back. If you want to join me live on Twitch, I'm now analyzing the comparison between the top 3 drivers of this sprint quali. And as I was saying, it could be this difference in throttle application could be due to different approach, because I was watching, I think it was Norris and Antonelli, and they had two completely different trajectory lines taken, especially at this corner, turn 3. But yeah, anyway, Russell here definitely the most efficient in going on throttle, and that's why he is gaining a lot. Also here you can see the speed trace. He's gaining 10 kilometers per hour to Norris and 7 kilometers per hour to Leclerc. So definitely quite a lot here at turn 3, and I'm pretty sure that both Leclerc and Norris will notice that tonight and tomorrow morning before jumping in the car for sprint and then for quali, because guys, I want you to remember that tomorrow, yes, there will be another quali session because it's the sprint weekend. And that's exactly the point where Russell is gaining that much in the first sector. Is mainly in turn 3, a little bit also here going before turn 7 in top speed. I don't know if it's due to ERS deployment, because you can see the difference in speed here. We have a maximum delta that is 5 kilometers per hour, plus 5 kilometers per hour to Norris, and plus 6 to Leclerc. So a little bit of time was gained also here before turn 7. But now let's jump into second sector, where Mercedes was struggling, guys. And you can notice that it's very simple to notice where Mercedes was struggling here. And it's definitely turn 7, turn 8. Really low speed brought by Russell into the corner, even though the throttle application is not that bad, because if you compare it with Norris, Russell had also a really good throttle application, almost as good as Leclerc, even though on the exit Leclerc has a really efficient throttle application. But there's this, this peak in the brake trace is why Russell is bringing this low speed into turn 7. And we have, if we zoom it, we go to the minimum and we have a maximum delta between Russell and Norris that is plus 11 kilometers per hour for Norris. So the McLaren went into 7 with plus 11 kilometers per hour than Russell. Hello everyone, also on Instagram, guys. I'm live on my Twitch. Sorry. If you want to join me, you can read the telemetry with me. This is the telemetry coming from the sprint quali, which was really close in terms of who got the sprint pole. And there's also a delta speed to Leclerc that is even higher, because you can see the red line that is Leclerc is higher than Norris. That is, Leclerc has plus 14 kilometers per hour to Russell into 7. That's huge, guys. That's a huge difference in speed. And you can see also here, we can go back just a little bit. Russell is the only driver braking going into 7. The only driver applying brakes. You can see the brake signal is only that goes to 1, so that is applied. Is the only one is the aqua color, which is Russell, and that's really interesting. So definitely Russell will look at this difference tonight. And also we go into 8. You can see also at 8 there is a huge difference in speed between Russell, Norris and Leclerc, especially between the Mercedes and the other two drivers. Always, a lower speed from Mercedes. Why? You can see definitely is the throttle application compared to Leclerc, which is we have Russell that is 5% throttle application against the 25 of Leclerc, but the throttle application is not as bad as Norris. So this, lower speed going into 8 could be related also to, a mistake going to the corner. Unfortunately, we can't read, steering angle. We don't know if he had understeer, a little bit of oversteer that, brought into this strange speed behavior, because also the brake is not that bad, because Russell is lifting the throttle after everyone else. So what you should think is that I'm lifting the throttle after everyone, I'm bringing more speed into the corner, and I'm also braking as a result of that. I'm braking later than everyone else. So this could be a mistake made by Russell into 8, but unfortunately I didn't watch the onboard, Russell's onboard, but I will definitely take a look at that once I finish the live, because that's a really strange behavior in terms of speed. And also here you can see that going into 9, before breaking into 9, also the speed here, between 7, 8, 9, Mercedes is struggling a lot, today. I'm really curious to see the comparison between sprint quali and tomorrow's quali, if they will change something related to setup to trying to fix what this problem in 7, 8, and 9. Because 4/10 only in sector 2. Yes, that's true that in the first and third sector they have like a rocket ship, but yeah, that's something I didn't expect from Mercedes, especially in sector 2. And then we arrive in the third sector, which is nothing really important to look at, only probably this. Between 12 and 13 we have, we are going into 13. Let's just go back a little bit at the exit of 12. So exit of 12, you can see Russell has a really good, really efficient way of going on throttle, because he's the fastest of the top 3 to go on throttle, and he's gaining also in terms of speed. You can see the aqua color line that is higher, that is the highest one. And also the speed here, because we're not zooming too much, but we have 10 kilometers. This gap is 10 kilometers per hour difference, so you can understand how big of a gap could be in terms of lap time. And then we arrive here, entry of 13, sorry. Russell lifts the throttle before everyone else. In this way, he's bringing lower speed into the corner, but then he goes on throttle before everyone else, and this little advantage, which is couple of kilometers per hour, he brings this advantage all the way to the checkered flag. But another really interesting thing that I wanted to show you before we switch into the aero efficiency plot, which some of you really like, is that look at almost every corner throttle application. Guys, Leclerc is the best driver in the top 3 in terms of throttle application mid corner, because you can see that the red line is almost everywhere above the other two lines. It means that he manages to keep the throttle a little bit up, not 0%, not lifting completely, but he managed to keep the throttle on because of probably the grip that the Ferrari has. And that's really interesting, because you can see the red line is always almost everywhere, unless here into 7 it's always above the Mercedes and the McLaren. That's really interesting. So this throttle trace behavior from Leclerc is interesting, as well as the brake application from Russell here that made him lose, I will tell you, around, I would say probably 1/10 and a half, only because of this brake application. That's really strange from Russell. Hello everyone, also on Instagram, guys. I'm live on my Twitch. If you want to join, just click the link down below and you can see what I'm seeing, all the telemetry coming from the car. So if you like, performance engineering, race engineering, data analysis, trackside engineering, that's what you want to see, definitely. Okay, so let's go very quickly into the next plot that I want to show you, and it's the maximum speed, because I don't know if some of you noticed during the sprint quali, but there was something interesting to look at. So I'm plotting the maximum speed plot, so you will see now the bars similar to the sectors one, but that's related to the maximum speed during the quali session, the sprint quali session. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so we have, you can see from left to right, we have from highest to lowest. And look at here, you can't see it because there are the other bars, but Alonso, 294 kilometers per hour top speed. That's really strange. I mean, they brought the Adwo, so definitely, or they forgot to put the Adwo on Alonso's car and they still have, the previous Honda engine. Because if you compare it also with Stroll, there is 20 kilometers per hour speed difference. But of course, that's not the reason why there is this 20 kilometers per hour difference. But this is due to the fact that Alonso, during his fastest lap, it didn't open the straight mode, the former DRS, the straight mode in the main straight. So that's why his top speed is that low. So nothing related to engine problems. I saw it live. Just his straight mode just didn't go on. I don't know if there was a problem of activation with the actuators or something like that, but yes, he didn't open the straight mode. That's why he had this strange gap between him and his teammate. And also he did like a 16-0, and it was like 1 second and a half slower than what he did during the FP1. Couldn't be truthful. Then what else? We can see that Alpine with Colapinto 330 kilometers per hour. Really, probably too much in terms of top speed. If you see all the cars, probably they went on too low drag setup. But yeah, that's 330 kilometers per hour, which is a +8 to Russell, which is the second fastest car on track. Same speed as Antonelli. Also, the Williams are quite strong in terms of top speed. As you know, both. All these until here. So we have the first 7 cars that are Mercedes, PU. They're using Mercedes PU. So Alpine, Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren. Then we have Ferrari with 319 kilometers per hour. So a -3 kilometers per hour top speed compared to Russell. But yes, quite in the same window as McLaren in terms of top speed. And then we can see there is a little bit of a gap between, let's say, the Mercedes PU, Ferrari, and then the Red Bull powertrain. You can see that the fastest is Lane Blood 317. Then we have Verstappen with 316. Not a great speed, top speed for the Red Bull, but you can see Lawson, second slowest car on track. That's really interesting to notice. So yeah, in terms of top speed, Red Bull, Racing Bulls, they're not quite good enough, at least. For today. I don't know if they still need to adjust the setup, considering that you only have FP1 to find the optimum in terms of setup. But as you guys know, it's very difficult to find the optimum in terms of setup. But yeah, bro, that's not the goated graph. Hello, Leighton. Yes, that's exactly what I'm about to show right now. It's probably the last graph that it's left for today. Let me just plot this one. So we're ready for the air efficiency plot. Let's plot it now, and just give me a couple of seconds and you will see it. Perfect. So let me just make it wider, and probably here we're gonna see what I was telling you, what I was trying to show you with maximum speeds. Yes, we can see it, and I will show you right now. So this is the air efficiency plot, or like some of you likes to call it, it's the goated graph. I only got the notification now that you're live. Oh, that's strange, Leighton. I've been live for 30 minutes now, almost. That's strange. I also, went live 5 minutes before, going live, actually live, in this way to give you time to join. But that's strange. But anyway, so you can see Alonso completely on the bottom left part of the graph. What does that mean? Just right here, low downforce, high drag, low L over D, of course, means that you're not aerodynamically efficient, but that's data is this this data coming from Alonso's car is not truthful. It's not aerodynamically truthful, because Alonso wasn't using the straight mode. He didn't activate it on the main straight during his fastest lap, so that's the reason why we have sort of high drag configuration, because his maximum speed is lower, and also his average speed is lower because the average speed for this graph, takes into account also the straights, takes into account all the laps. So that's why Alonso is here. It's not because he's aerodynamically inefficient, because you can see here Stroll, that's where the other Aston Martin should be, close to Stroll, or even a little bit here, close to Behrman. So definitely Aston Martin made an improvement. It was clear, the improvement was clear during FP1. It was really good session for Alonso. The FP1 I think was P11 or P12, something like that. But anyway, let's keep going. We can see, as I said before, Colapinto, the fastest car on track. You can see low drag configuration, probably too much, too much low drag, and of course therefore downforce. Because if you compare it with Gasly, definitely they have two different configuration, at least from the data that we can take from that. But let's take a look at, oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. From here, Mercedes definitely the most efficient in terms of aerodynamics, with Russell and Antonelli really close. So it's really interesting to also compare these two drivers, the two Mercedes drivers, because from here Antonelli has same top speed as Russell but higher average speed than Russell. So I would like to see if maybe the Italian driver made a mistake into the lap, because I mean his average speed is higher than Russell. So that's really interesting to take a look at. Also Verstappen, really good average speed, but the problem, as I said before, is the top speed. It's not just him, it's all the Red Bull family. Also look at, you can see here Tsunoda, sorry, that's not Tsunoda, this should be Lawson, and then Tsunoda and Lindblad. They are pretty much in the same maximum speed window. Hello everyone, also on Instagram, guys, I'm live on my Twitch. If you want to join, you can just click the link down below and you can see what I'm showing right now. We are talking about aero efficiency plot. I mean, you have on the x-axis the average speed, you have on the y-axis the maximum speed, and from here you can basically understand the path that the teams decided to go towards in terms of setup, at least from the basic data that we can get from the cars, thanks to Fast F1. But anyway, another interesting fact is that despite this position, also Piastri's car on average speed is better than Norris. You can see also top speed, but we saw was like 1 km/h difference. Ferrari in terms of top speed is the same as we already said, but Leclerc more efficient than Hamilton. Of course, that's obvious if you look at the lap times. I think there was half a second between the two Ferraris or something like that. But correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, that's the air efficiency plot. Of course, guys, if you have questions, just comment, let me know, and I'm happy to answer to all your doubts or opinions or questions. So let's take a look at the two Mercedes drivers comparison in terms of telemetry data. Because, as I said before, I don't think Antonelli had a problem with the floor, despite his off-road during SQ1. But let's take a look where the gap comes from. So we want Russell, Antonelli, and we want, yes, so I put Russell in red and Antonelli in aqua color, and we just analyze those two drivers with these colors, which are quite different from each other. So it's better to compare the lines in the plots. So here we have the comparison between Russell and Antonelli. So as always, guys, you have this red line, vertical line, that is me moving in the plots, and at the same time this line is connected to the track map, so you can see on the map where actually I am on the map. And I think this is a really cool way of reading. If you're not if you're not an expert on reading the telemetry, understanding where you are, the track map is essential, because otherwise you will need to go back and forth with plots and track map. But anyway, let's take a look. So we have first sector. They were quite similar as we said before. So the gap comes essentially from this part of the track. So it's always turn 3, which is the corner, as I said before, when we compared Russell, Norris, and Leclerc, is the corner where Russell made the difference in sector 1 to Norris, compared to Norris and Leclerc, and right now also to Antonelli. Because look at here, turn 3, we're going into turn 3, and we can see that Russell is brake trace. Okay, he's bringing much more speed into the corner, so more throttle application. But despite that, he still manages to. Sorry, I'm talking about Antonelli. He's bringing much more speed into the corner because of the way he approaches turn 3. But then what happens? On the exit, Russell, look at the throttle application. The line is more efficient because the line is smoother going into 100%. So that's where Russell is making the difference to Antonelli at sector 1. But that's not a huge difference between the two Mercedes driver. Second sector, you can see from the delta lap time is pretty much the same. It's kind of flat. Yes, there are some spikes here, some maximums. But this is, some peaks here. But this is, you don't have to look at the peaks. You need to look at before and after the corner. And if you start at plus 0.2 of a second, there's a peak. You go plus half a second, and then you come back to plus 0.2. That doesn't mean anything. It means in that corner you didn't gain and you didn't lose anything. It's not because there's this peak it means that you gained. No, you need to look at what happens on the exit of the corner. So pretty much the same, and you can see also here the gap is really close. So until the end of sector 2, the two Mercedes drivers were really close to each other. So definitely Antonelli's car was okay in terms of points of downforce. But then let's take a look at what happened here. Why Antonelli lost a lot. We're talking about probably a couple of tenths between Russell and Antonelli, but comes from here, and you can see from the delta lap time. Look at how the gap goes up, and by going up it means, because of the reference we're taking into the plot, it means that Russell is faster than Antonelli, because this is Antonelli gap to Russell. So going up, it means that Antonelli gap to Russell is positive, so Antonelli is slower than Russell. And you can see here throttle application into 11, exit of 11. Look at the throttle application. Look at the peak, the red peak, which is Russell. We have a peak of 40% throttle application into the corner against the 14 maximum throttle application from Norris, guys. That's from Antonelli, sorry, from Antonelli, guys. That's a huge difference in terms of throttle application. And as a result, look at the speed brought into the corner. We have the red line that is definitely ahead, higher than the aqua color. So Russell is bringing so much more speed into 11, 12. We have a speed difference that is 8, 9, probably here also 10 kilometers per hour plus 10 to Antonelli. So that's where Antonelli is losing, and he will definitely improve for tomorrow because he is looking at this right now. And also going on throttle at the exit of 12, look at the red line, how the red line goes 100%. The red line goes 100%, faster, earlier than the aqua colors. And this, going on throttle before the aqua color, this advantage you'll bringing all the way until the next, lifting zone. Throttle lifting zone, and you can see the red line is always ahead, is always higher than the aqua color line. And we have Antonelli that gains a little bit, it recovers a little bit. You can see the delta going down a little bit because of this, lifting the throttle before and not losing too much on the exit. So lifting the throttle, after, not before. Lifting the throttle later than Russell means bringing much more speed into the corner. But yes, I would say that Russell made the difference to Antonelli at the end of sector 2, at the beginning of sector 3. So turn 11, 12 is where Russell made the difference to his teammate Antonelli. It wasn't the car, it was performance, and the performance came from the performance deficit came from T11, T12. So hats off to Russell that finally did a great job. He put a important gap between him and his teammate, and it's important, especially mentally, because he has to recover 50 points, and his comeback can start from this performance. So hats off to Russell. Still, it's gonna be really, really difficult. But yeah, we're not even halfway through the season, so the battle is on, So that's what I wanted to show you guys. I don't know if you want me to plot another comparison, if you want to see comparison between the McLarens or I don't know, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls. So just I will leave it a couple of minutes for you if you want me to show something else. Otherwise, we'll call it a day for today. Of course, I will be live again, guys, probably tomorrow after the quali session for the same data analysis session with you all. As you know, I'm an engineer. I read this kind of data, so it's just something that I really enjoy to do with you all. So if you have questions, if you want me to show something else, yeah, I don't think it's essential to show the hello everyone also on Instagram, guys. I'm live on my Twitch for another couple of minutes before calling it a day. I'm showing everything related to telemetry, data analysis. If you want to look at something, at some driver in particular, just let me know. Click the link down below, follow me on Twitch, and yeah, just comment on what you want to see, and I will show it to you. Yes, the gap between the Ferraris is kind of huge. Let's do this. Let's show this last thing for you guys, so we won't miss this. Let's plot the comparison between Hamilton and Leclerc to understand what happened to Lewis. Lewis was faster than Leclerc at the end of the session, no, but it was definitely because he didn't do a second attempt compared to Leclerc during FP1. It was, in my opinion, he was faster than Leclerc in FP1. If he had done the second attempt as Charles did, he would have been ahead of him. But let me plot this for you, the comparison between the two Ferrari drivers, and then I will close the live. So let me plot Leclerc. We want red, and then we plot Hamilton, and we want it with the white line. So let's make it wider, and let's compare the Ferrari drivers. Okay, so this is the comparison, guys. We have Leclerc in red, Hamilton in white. This is, as always, from top to bottom, we have speed trace, throttle trace, brake trace, gear, and the delta gap. I want to plot, as I said before, another plot. Just I don't know if changing this one, but it's the derivative of this one, which might be better to understand where a driver is gaining and where a driver is losing, because you can see a better plot. Let's say it this way. But anyway, you can see from sector 1 there is already a couple of tenths, almost 3 tenths different between Hamilton and Leclerc, and the problem is that Lewis struggled here. You can see it a little bit before. So Lewis is bringing a lot of speed into turn 2. You can see Leclerc is bringing a lot of speed compared to Lewis into turn 2, and that's why the gap is going up. Also in terms of throttle application, you can see that here Leclerc is using the throttle better than Lewis. Then Lewis is here recovers a little bit in order to look at here, in order here to balance the speed before turn 3. But then because of this, Leclerc had this, you know, almost 0% throttle application here to have a better exit at turn 3. Sorry, here, I don't know what I'm doing. But to have a better exit here, and you can see the red line going to 100% at the exit of 3 better than the white line. So in a more efficient way. So that's where essentially Leclerc is gaining to Hamilton. So between 2 and 3 is where Leclerc is gaining to Hamilton, and that's why there is this gap in the first sector. In the second sector, we can see it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much flat. As I said before, you don't have to consider these peaks if the difference between, you know, before the peak and after the peak is the same. You have to consider, you know, before and at the exit of the corner. But what is interesting to notice is what is happening here between 11 and 12. So as we said before with Russell and Antonelli, also between Leclerc and Hamilton, there is a difference, and the difference is pretty interesting to notice. Going into 11, because going into 11 is the same thing that we saw it going into 3. Leclerc is lifting the throttle later than Hamilton because Leclerc is the red line, so is bringing much more speed into the corner. And we can see here, for example, if I take this part, which should be the maximum gap, we have 257 kilometers per hour for Leclerc against the 232, so 25 kilometers per hour difference between the two Ferrari drivers. It's a lot, guys. It's really a lot. And that's why this gap goes up in a very, you know, steep way. You know, you can see the slope is very steep into 11. Then at 12, yes, Lewis has a better exit. You can see the throttle, the white throttle line is more efficient. Also, the speed is higher because as a result of the throttle application. So the delta gap time is going down, is going towards Lewis. But what he has lost into, you know, at the apex, at the entry of 11, it's too much. So what he's doing at the exit of 12 is not enough to recover what he has lost previously. So that's the two you know, worst points for Lewis during this SQ session. I would say turn 2-3, turn 11, 12, and now that I'm looking at it, also here, but not in the same way as the two previous points, also turn 13, because you can see also here Leclerc is bringing so much speed, but then because of that he has a poor exit compared to Lewis. So here not too much of a loss for Lewis. So yes, Lewis struggled a lot between 2 and 3 and between 11 and 12. So that's why there was this gap between the two Ferrari drivers. Okay, so guys, that was it for today's analysis. I really hope that you like what I showed you, what I you know, explained to you. It was really fun, and I really enjoyed talking with you about what happened during this SQ session. I will be live tomorrow as well after the quali to always analyze the data. So if you like performance engineering, race engineering, data analysis, just click the link down below. Follow me on Twitch so you will get notified when I will be live again. It will be tomorrow. I don't know if it will be tomorrow night or tomorrow just right after the quali session, but yes, I will let you know. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day, a great night if it's evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay guys, thank you so much everyone. Thank you Mod, thank you Leighton, thank you everyone that attended the live, and yeah, see you tomorrow guys. Cheers guys.